All right, we are live on the Unlocking Manhood podcast with Dylan Sardiff. He is a special guest. I've met him about maybe 6 months ago. He's got a very unique, very exciting story that I feel can help a lot of men, especially younger kids, high school, college age, because he's taken a very unique route to finding his happiness and success, not just internally, but also has manifested that financially. So, Dylan, welcome to the program.
Yeah, Thomas, thank you so much for having me, man. Like I said, I know we met recently, but hearing your mission, I think is just great. And I definitely kind of live the sort of average, follow these rules life, and then decided to switch it up and do it my way. And I didn't really think of it as a special different thing until learning and being around people and recognizing that my approach, well, I just think it's better because I like it more, but it's definitely different than what a lot of people do. And then I saw that you are creating this platform to offer that information to people. Think it's great. And then you invited me on it. And I was like, absolutely. Let's hang out and I'll throw my story at you, see if it does anyone any good.
Sweet, dude. I'm pumped. This is going to be fun.
Cool.
So let's start off, Dylan. And I started this off in middle school. That's when our programs kind of start. We start to develop enough life context to understand, like, oh, okay, there's different shit going on here. I've got to understand where my space is. So let's go back to your middle school experience and where you stood and what you're interested in and what kind of drew you in your journey into adulthood.
Yeah. So middle school, I grew up in Minnesota, Alexandria, Minnesota, and kind of did all school with my, living with my parents and a couple siblings. And it was a nice community. I did sports and after school programs and just was around people in basic public school. Obviously, at the time, I didn't think much of it. I'm fortunate of the upbringing. It was I'm pretty happy about it after learning how some of the rest of the world plays out. And yeah, I just did the school thing, started going to high school, doing more sports, more just trying to learn anything. I'd get involved in any extracurricular or something different to do. I found out I wasn't good at a lot of it. And I was never like the star athlete. And I didn't find some special skill or some special hobby that I was super passionate about. But I was always up for adventure and always willing to meet new people and hang out with pretty much anybody and just go out and see what I could find and learn. So I got really excited when college started to come around the corner or leaving home because I just wanted to go out and adventure and explore and travel and see things and figure out if there's some perfect path I want my life to go on. But I also I don't think there was a time in my life where I thought, oh, I want a job or I want to be this or I want to do that with my whole life. I was always kind of like, I just want to do what sounds fun and exciting. I can't think of any like dream job I had when I was younger. I just wanted to go play and explore and be happy. Just do things I like.
That's awesome. I love that. So I want to dig deeper into this. You said like you weren't the star in anything and you just wanted to find how you fit in, not necessarily how you fit in, but what made you happy and how you can find and grab that traction. And I think this is a sticking point for a lot of people is they're seeing a lot of people succeed and it makes, it looks either whether they've worked hard and earned that ability or it comes naturally to them. What was your process of working through that of feeling like you had that feeling of, oh, I'm not great at anything. Now what?
I don't know. I think I was just always willing to try anything, and I was around star athletes and really smart people. And I did fine at school. I wasn't awful at anything, but I was never like, oh, this is my deal. So I was happy just exploring and trying new things. And I was always willing to get around new people and see new opportunity. As I was younger, I didn't recognize the power of being around new people and learning new things. And I figured out as I got older, and that fortunately turned into my strongest strength was being willing to get around anyone and try anything new and not have my mind closed to, oh, this is my expectations and this is where I should go. So that was kind of the evolution of that, is just living through it and recognizing the value of just doing new things. that kind of answer your question?
Absolutely. So you got a spice where you felt comfortable getting around, you're willing to get around people and learning what they're doing. And then how can I use this, try this to get results that I want?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice, dude. That's awesome. So you grew up in Minnesota, you ended up, going to college. Where did you go to college and what influenced your decision at that time at 18 years old to go to that college and make that choice for whatever that major might have been?
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a really interesting topic to me because, like I said, I think it matches part of your theme. Uh, Everyone I was around was going to college. All my friends' parents, all my teacher was go to college, go to college. My parents were supportive of whatever I want to do, so that was a benefit. But they were also pro college if I wanted to go that route. And I didn't really think anything of it. I was like, well, I'd like to do the military or I'd like to go just travel and explore. But everyone and everything around me was just saying, just go to college, get it done. It'll be a good fallback plan. You don't need to use your degree. It's going to help you in the future. And so I just went and did it. And I remember signing up for college being like, this just doesn't feel right for me. I don't think this is going to work. And even at 18, I just clearly remember thinking, I'm going to get done with college. I'm going to have a bunch of debt and I'm not going to use like my degree to go try and impress someone to get a dream job or a dream opportunity. I'm like, maybe, but I just don't see it. So at that point, I was still following what I thought and was told was best, went that direction. And it was, it was fun. I did fine in college. I drug it out for like 8 years because I just didn't want to do it. I took semesters off and did smaller, like less credit loads. And yeah, I ended up landing a job in college that was kind of the career direction. I'll let you, do you have any more questions or should I get into that part?
Yeah, go ahead and flow, man.
Okay, so I did the college thing. I was like 3 years into it, had a handful of credits. I was like, okay, I'll finish it just at my own rate. And I found this great job. It was managing a shoe store, and it was for a great company. They are all around the Midwest. We've got like 100 store, been around for 100 years. Tons of opportunity, great pay, lots of freedom, good environment. And they sent me traveling to different stores, and I got to go do different things, manage different things, learn a lot. And I had a lot of fun with it. Just honestly, I think the biggest win there is I was like 22 managing a store. So I thought I was really cool. I was like, good job, you did it. And I had fun for a little bit, and then it just turned into work. And it was just a job. And it was everything I didn't want. I was like 80 hours a week of just being in one place.
Wow.
And I couldn't stand the idea of having to ask permission every time I wanted to go on a vacation. Or I realized the headaches I was taking on to run a store, which cool part was they let me act like it was my store, but then I take on the headaches of it being my store without it actually being my store, but still being an employee. And so I got the taste of having a career, a good one. And I remember thinking this would be a great job for someone who wants a job. And I also finished college online throughout that. I got done with college, landed exactly where I thought I was going to be, just a bunch of debt. And it was business management degree. And I had no idea what to do with it. I started looking up jobs with a business management degree, and they all looked exactly like the job I had. Like, yeah, we'll give you this and bonuses and go for it.
Real quick, you said did you go to school in Minnesota as well? Which school did you go to?
University of Minnesota, Crookston.
Okay. University of Minnesota, and you did both degrees there?
Yeah, just one degree, business
just
management.
One degree. You just stretched it out.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I took my time on it. I wasn't in a rush to finish it because I wasn't that excited to have it, and I didn't have to start making student loan payments. So it worked for me. Cool.
Continue on, my friend.
All right. So I'd say, I got out of college and I wanted to start a business was something I kind of was lingering on to. I liked the idea of it. I got that degree, didn't have a clue how to start a business. I had ran a store.
And this was a business degree.
Yeah.
So you got your degree in business, and then you got done and you felt like, what is this for?
Didn't have a clue, man. I can read a supply and demand chart really well and do math okay, but like just didn't do anything for school. And then or for like anything I want to get into. I looked at jobs that say you have a I was looking for jobs that required a business degree. I started looking at them and they all just looked the same as the job I had, like managing a store, you'll get a salary and so much paid time off. And there's always a price or a pay cap or, a income ceiling.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I kind of landed there and I was like, okay, I didn't sit there. I wasn't mad about it, but I got done with school. I was doing that management store for like 3 years. And I was like, okay, I did all the kind of stuff they tell you to do as a young adult, go to college, get a job, try that out. I'm like, I tried it. I gave it a shot. It sucks. I don't want to do it. I'm just going to start doing what I want. And so for the first time, I've always wanted my biggest dream in life was to live on the coast and get into scuba diving. And that was always the main thing I wanted to do. And then as I got older, started realizing I do really want to own business. I like entrepreneurship. I'll tell you a little bit about that journey too. So I decided, okay, I'm going to just go out and explore and just do what I want to do. So I was managing the store and finished school. And I was like, I don't want to do this management thing. I just want to go play. So I left that job and I took I was working at a restaurant. I got back into restaurants because like, this is just simple income that'll work to pay bills while I figure out what I want to do. I took a random 2-day trip out to the Oregon coast on a whim, booked a plane ticket the day before. I came out here and just fell in love with it. I remember stepping on the beach and just going, nobody told me this was here. I didn't know this was an option. And I'd been to the East Coast lots of times. I was planning on moving over there. That was the big goal, get done with school, move to the beach. I came out here for 2 days and I ended up flying home that night to go back to work and put in my 2-week notice at my job. And I was like, I'm going to quit. I'm going to move to the Oregon coast. I don't know a soul in the state. I don't have a job lined up. I don't have a place to live. I think I had like $2,000 saved in my name. And I was like, I'm going to go over there and see what happens. I sold all my stuff, flew out here, and it ended up just being the most fun, exciting, flawless experience ever. Like with no plan, didn't have anything figured out. I came out here within 48 hours, I got a job, a place to live, and a girl to hang out with. And I was like, cool, I made it. This is home now. And so I just kind of hung out. I just stopped worrying about following the rules, getting a job, stuff like that. I just wanted to explore, play in the water. So I came out here and did that. For the first year, I just had so much fun and I met so many people and got into surfing a tiny bit and foraging for food and just doing the things I always wanted to do. A year after that, I was like, I want to go do another adventure. So I moved to Key West, Florida for 6 months with my brother. And that was just a total just off the whim. Like, let's go down here. I think he was finishing school too. No rhyme or reason, just wanted to. It felt right. It felt like something we wanted to do. So I went down there, man, and it was just beautiful. We got certified scuba diving. I just went to another restaurant gig just to pay bills, met a ton of cool people, and started to see entrepreneurs everywhere. And I started talking to just a lot of people had different little side hustles and things they were doing to make money and things they were doing to have fun and supplement some of their income. And I also found real estate investing and started finding out there's a lot of rich people in Key West, Florida. And when I hear someone has a lot of money, I like to ask, what do they do? Or what do you do? And I kept hearing they own a bunch of real estate. And I was like, well, that just sounds expensive. I don't know how that's a good income. I ended up reading Rich Dad Poor Dad and just got hooked. You know that story, right?
Everybody, oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Not a new story. So I read that one, just got hooked on it, went all in on studying real estate and just learned everything about investing, listened to every podcast, every book, went to every meetup, blah, blah, blah. And just got super nerded out on that. I was like, this sounds like such a great tool to create the life you want and to not have a cap and to do different jobs and have some freedom. And I just fell in love with the concept of real estate. So I was in Key West, kind of listening to podcasts, exploring there. And the more I found entrepreneurs, the more I just found myself drooling over them, just little stuff. I had my roommate open an entertainment company and he let me kind of like start it and market it and show it and promote it, whatever. And I just had fun seeing the ground up start of a business and how those little intricacies work. And then I'd find people who were like, a buddy was kiteboarding and just posting his kiteboarding videos and making money. And a friend was making candles and selling them. And I think it was the first time I got exposed to a lot of entrepreneurship. And I was just drooling over it, man. I was like, you can make money doing that instead of selling shoes or bringing people food. I was like, that looks way more awesome.
Nice.
So I ended up coming back to Oregon Coast, and which was always the plan. I want to come back to this area because I just love it. With this whole newfound, like, okay, it's time to get some things done. I want to make some moves and start chasing the things I really want. So I'll take a break from the story there, see if you have any questions or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems that the theme for you that keeps coming up is your ability to build connections and learn from those people.
Yes, I definitely would say that's probably one of my best skills. Not being great at sports and music and stuff, I got lucky that I get along with people. So it was kind of always me, just meet people. Never had a motive of anything I wanted from them. It was just interesting to see what other people are doing with their lives. And so I did it. Just talked to as many people as I could.
I think that's a really powerful lesson for the audience is having interest in other people without any other motives can just open up absolutely amazing doors. And I certainly don't have that gift. I struggle, man. Connecting with others is something I've really got to work at. And so it's awesome that you've leaned into that in your development.
Yeah. I mean, if I can throw out some advice, connecting with other people, it's just truly get interested in their story. A lot of people, when they're meeting people, they have this desire to talk about themselves or share who they are in relation to the other person. And I'm more like, no, just go talk to them and ask them questions about them, and don't feel obligated to make the conversation about you, or if you're going to like them, or if you're going to get along. Just listen to them. People love talking to themselves, and that's about themselves. And that's always just been easy to me. It's like, cool, I like listening to your story. I'll ask questions, and then connections get made.
That's awesome. Cool. So you move back to Oregon. It seems that you're leaving. Each place you leave, you have a deeper understanding of what you want to do, the skills you need to get there. And you're slowly starting to gain some traction into this interest in entrepreneurship.
Yes. And I am going to give most of it credit to, I just want to step back to sort of the message I want to share the most, which is just go out and do what you want and trust your gut. No one is going to understand what's best for you. And so many people are out giving advice saying, you should do this, you should do that. But people can't decide what's best for you. And you don't know until you go do things. So I just sort of went out and just did what I wanted for no reason. And I found my biggest lightning bulbs go off there. Light bulbs go off there.
That's it. That's the next level right there.
Lightning bulbs. I'm not going to correct it. Don't edit that. Lightning bulbs going off. Yeah, man. So I got back, and I always kind of had a taste for entrepreneurship, and business was interesting to me. But then after Key West, I sort of just got really intrigued by it and found real estate as like the one tool I wanted to get into to hopefully escape financial stress. So I remember I got back to Oregon, and I came to the same town, went to the same job I was, just good people, it was a bartending gig. And I just remember sitting right down and being like, okay, I'm starting a business. I don't know what. And so I was into crabbing and clamming. So I started this foraging business, taking people out crabbing and clamming. And I did it for a real short amount of time. I got to learn a lot though. I was like, all right, I'm gonna start a business, something I like. I have no idea if it's gonna work. Don't know if it's gonna make money. Don't care. I just want to start doing something. And so I learned a ton of the little basic things to do to get business, man. I had to call when I was trying to figure out how to get like a guide license or what it takes to take people out, take their money and whatever. I literally felt like I was just dialing random numbers into the phone, seeing who would answer and answer questions. Like I spent hours and hours and hours on the phone, just figuring out how you structure something like this. And I just want to do something for fun, make a little money while I was trying to figure out how to get into real estate. And so that one was great fun, learned some stuff. I ended it because I realized it wasn't going to make me money after I started running the numbers, and because I had a couple of local fishermen threaten my life if I gave away their crabbing spot. It's like playful, but I was like, man, I don't feel like dying and not making money. So that one faded away. It was like, some people call it failure, and like, don't be scared of failure. And I started something, it came and died really quick. And I didn't ever bat an eye at it. I was like, okay, well, that didn't work, off to the next thing. So I around the same time started doing. You've seen Storage Wars?
I've seen it. Yeah, I can't say that I've gone through a full episode, but from what I understand, somebody will open up a storage locker that's been vacated.
Yeah.
They'll look at it for a minute, they'll close it, and they'll start doing bids on it. The people will buy the crap that's in the storage locker, and then hopefully there's enough that they can generate some income from wholesaling it.
Yes, that's exactly it. I always thought that sounded really cool. And I was like, okay, I want to go figure out how that works and go see if I can auction off some storage units and sell things. So I started doing that, buying storage unit auctions and just selling them online or garage sales or wherever I could. And that was just one of those, side hustle income producing ideas that was fun. I got to do it on my own time, and it was kind of like treasure hunting. So that was cool too. And I did that for a while. That actually evolved into people started asking me to sell their things for them and being like, hey, if I, will you sell this trailer or this RV I have, and I will give you a commission of it. And I was like, well, that sounds cool. It's the same thing I'm doing. It's just bigger ticket items, and all I have to do is post it, sell it. And so I started doing that. And it turns out there was a decent demand for people who just don't want to sell things they have. So they don't want to deal with the selling process. So all I have to do is show up, take pictures, post online, message, show it to people. And that turned into a little bit of chunk of change. So, that was just another fun income thing I did. And then where it gets good is, I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Then I think I started some other gig deals for a little bit, like pressure washing business and a fire pit building business. I think I started like 6 businesses where I never actually did any of it. I was just like bought the materials, started marketing, and then just kind of stopped doing it for whatever reason. So I got to the point where I was getting pretty educated on real estate investing, learning about it, meeting some people, really wanting to get into my first house. So I was like, okay, I want something that works. I want something that's actually gonna make a little money, still working for myself. And I just did what I think everyone should do. And I started a business picking up dog poop. And I literally heard, I think one of my sister had a guy picking up her dog poop. I was like, oh, that's a thing. And then I heard one of my friends like, hey, I wish I could just pay someone to pick up dog poop because we got this dog for my daughters and they won't do it. And I was like, well, I bet that happens a lot. So I was like, I'm going to start a dog poop cleaning business. So I just went out and bought a pooper scooper and some bags, and I went to one of my friends. I was like, hey, I'm gonna start a dog poop cleaning business. And she pulled $50 out of her pocket and just slapped on the counter. I was like, how long will this get me? And I was like, all right, well, that worked. That turned into there's a demand for it. So I took that one kind of serious. I was like, this will work. And I just wanted to learn how to actually structure a business and build a business. And I kind of did some of those things, but college, again, didn't teach me anything. I got out there, I had no idea how to make an entity, how to get insurance, how to pay taxes, not a clue. So I was like, picking up dog poop, that'll work. And then if I screw something up, no one will get mad at me because it's the guy that was picking up dog poop. Of course, he didn't know how to do his taxes right. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna roll with this one. And real quick, I got like 30 clients, just doing simple marketing. I went and asked some of my other business owner friends, started talking to people, figuring out like, how do you make an actual entity and make it real? And it's not hard. It's just things that no one teaches you. So you go figure it out. And I ended up building that dog poop, just around 30 clients. I didn't go, honestly, it's an unlimited demand for it, but I just want to experiment with it. So I built it, and then I started hiring out my bookkeeping and billing. And that was really cool to see how you get someone else to do the work. And then I hired out someone to actually do the cleaning. And I had this guy who was picking up the dog poop for me. And so there's a couple months there where I pretty much forgot I had this business because it was really small and so simple to get other people to do the work. But there's a few months where I didn't touch anything and it was just making money. And I ended up saving my first $20,000 from picking up dog poop and selling things. And that was, about $17,000 more than I've ever had in my life before. And so I started looking at getting a house, and having a little bit of down payment looked possible. And it was. So I did have the bartending income still, and I had a little down payment money. and I got a house, which was like a house with a guest house. And so I house hacked it, rented out the house and lived in the guest house. And then that one purchase and the networking with other people, and some of the people I was working with, and just showing the ability to do anything like outside the norm, or work a little bit, or get creative, or just do something. And that sparked enough interest that I ended up getting some really great partners and friends that 2 years after I bought my first one, I've now been part of 5 deals, a couple flips and a couple buy and holds. And so after getting my first house and having the dog food business all kind of running itself, I sold it to my friend who was doing the billing for me. And so I got to build a little dog food business, hire it out, sell it, and got into, I can't say I went full-time into real estate, but got pretty and am very heavy into it. And then about 9 months ago, after flipping my first house, I decided to quit my bartending job and just see what happens. And I didn't have it was scary, same struggle anyone goes through when they're making a change. I didn't have a perfect plan. I didn't have far from unlimited money and income, but I just kind of had the confidence after doing a handful of things for myself and realizing how much happier they made me and how much more rewarding they were. And the biggest thing that resonated with me, the deciding moment to quit my job, I heard someone ask, they're like, so if you could quit your job and go chase your dream, how long would it take you to get in the exact same position you were when you quit your job? And I was like, how long would it take me to get back into bartending? Like one phone call and I could probably be back at this job. And so I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So I, left work, got into investing, and now I spend all day, every day trying to find deals, meeting people, make stuff work. I look at 99 things and maybe find one that has some potential. And then with that, because of the other thing I kind of worked on, now I have people calling me pretty regularly to sell their things. And I just take a commission for pretty much whatever's fair and works. And it's really easy. I just post it, show it, sell it. And then the scuba diving, which I learned in Key West and moved back to Oregon and got very heavy into, and met some really good friends around here to do a lot of diving and spearfishing. Turned out there's demand for that too, for underwater services. So I started having people asking me to, they lose something, or they get a rope caught in their propeller, or they need something inspected. And so me and some of my buddies just whipped up this, I don't know if you want to call it a side hustle or business, but where we just do underwater services. And we get from $150 to $200 an hour doing underwater work, or $250 to go out and just check a propeller and see if there's a rope around it. And then being able to quit my job and take a risk and have all that free time and confidence to just try something. I was able to, I still have some income coming in, still doing the real estate stuff. And I get to spend pretty much all day, every day doing whatever I want. It's not not unlimited. I have plenty of responsibilities, but I don't have to go to work, and I don't have anyone who needs me anywhere all the time, every day, expecting me to do something. And I get to schedule and structure what I want to get done, how I want to do it, where I want to go play and have fun. And it's awesome. It's great.
That's cool. That's cool. So going back to what kind of spurred that first, letting go of the bartending job, your flip, how much, and so newer viewers that are new, flipping a house is, there's a house that's in okay shape. You buy it to, typically there may be a couple buyers. They buy it, they put some sweat equity into it, put in new carpets, new paint, update some things, and then sell it. And when you're selling a home, if it's got everything up to date and ready to go for the Smiths, that's really attractive for them, they want to move in right now, they want the house, they're going to pay more for it than if they would have had to done the work themselves. So there's some profit in there. So how much profit did you make off of that flip that gave you that confidence?
Yeah, I will kind of tell you that whole story too. It was a little different than that even, but so I had just the one rental, and I met now my really good friends and partners, Andy and Michelle. I met them picking up their dog poop. And then they were one of the first people who asked me to sell some of their things for them for a commission. And they came to me and they'd done these new construction build and flips. And he asked me if I want to be part of it. And I was like, absolutely not. I can't even hang a shelf on the wall. I don't want anything to do with new construction. But he explained it to me how it works and how we actually don't have to lift a hammer. And it started to get my attention. And then it came down to, told me how he'd done some funding for it and how we need to come up with a little extra money. And so I went out and found the extra money and decided to go for it. We had done a little work together, so we knew that we trust each other. This is a pretty big jump up, but that one all came from just, again, meeting people, getting to know them, and finding out that this taking a risk. And so we ended up buying a piece of land on borrowed money, then got a loan, a hard money loan on the build, and it was mid-COVID, man. Like the world was shut down, and we looked at the numbers and we were like, after paying everyone in the interest and all expenses, we were planning about profiting 40 grand to split 50-50. And we were like, well, it's either going to work or the world's going to shut down and it won't. But again, just taking risks and trusting your gut and getting educated on things you care about. We ended up, that was when there was that big skyrocket in the real estate market a couple of years back. And so we ended up selling it for a profit of 140 grand total. So 70 each.
Nice.
Yeah, that was big. That was very fun.
So you're sitting on that, you're able to quit your job and start into some new endeavors.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
That's the highlight reel. That's the story.
So, and the cool thing that I caught in that is you're doing dog poop. You're not just doing dog poop. You're talking, oh yeah, I sell things too. Oh yeah, and I do this. You build a connection, you build a relationship, you listen to people. They tell you their story. As the more you learn about people, it seems the more you're able to build connections of how you could work together and help them.
Yeah, every time. And it's just getting outside your comfort zone is probably the biggest thing there. It's like people are so used to staying in what they know and who they know. And it's very normal and fine, but you're not going to find the big changes until you go into comfort zone and get around people doing things that you haven't done, especially things that intimidate you, and get around those people and do them anyways. And yeah, that's my thoughts on that.
That's cool. I just want to give people kind of a perspective on this. You may have started off listening to this episode like, wow, this guy's just doing random things, moving from one thing to the next, kind of seems unstructured and unorganized. What's so special about this? But this is, Dylan's a really special person because you look at how he's at from being in school for 8 years, and then only a couple years later, he's living in a house, living in a guest house, renting out the house, probably covered at least your rent, maybe gaining a little profit.
Yep. Cover the whole mortgage.
And then flip the house, now sitting on 70K with no mortgage. He's got the world of options at his fingertips. And how old are you now, man?
32.
32. And he's like, it's a really cool story, dude. Like you've got a lot of big places you're going, and it's built on relationships and being smart with finances. And it seems like it's not just like you read a book and you're smart with finances. You learned through a lot of doing.
Yeah, no, it's a very long, slow learning process. When I decided I want to get a house, it took 3 years before I actually got one. And I was the whole time I was like, am I going to be able to do this? Is it going to work?
3 years.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if this will pan out, but I just kept plugging along, and I found something that really interested me, or I liked the opportunity in it. And I just stayed in connection with people doing it the whole time. I just kept asking questions. I had my agent showing me houses for 3 years and my lender telling me I can't afford one for 3 years. And I was just like, well, I'm going to keep pushing anyways. And then getting around more investors, and it turned into, short after that first flip, we started on an actual fix and flip project. Then went in, bought another land to do another new construction project. And I'm working on closing, my own personal buy and hold. And it was 100% getting around people doing it and finding people you like and seeing how they do things, and not like we said earlier, not having any expectations, just meeting people, seeing what's out there, figure out what draws you in that direction and go for it. Like, don't don't keep doing what everyone tells you to do. Go figure out what's right for you. And you don't know until you try stuff. And if you go try stuff and it doesn't work out, that's fine. So many people get held off on trying things because they don't want to fail and have to, and if they're honest with themselves, the reality is they don't want to have to tell other people they failed. And they don't want to have those conversations, and they're concerned about the thoughts of other. And it just doesn't matter. It's like you go out and you fail. I promise you're going to be happier knowing you tried it than spending the next 20 years wondering, I want to go do this. I want to make this move, get into this business. And you just wonder forever. You try it, you fail, it doesn't work out, you move on just fine. You find something else.
Yeah, absolutely, dude.
Yeah.
I love that. So wrapping things up, what's next for you? What are your next dreams for the next year or next few years?
Yeah, honestly, I just fell in love with the real estate business, and it's in the investment side of it. You find there's lots of different directions to go. And I found out you don't need a bunch of money for it. People will argue with me, but I've proven it time and time again, like you don't need a ton of money. You need the right people and the knowledge. So I want to keep getting real estate investments, more cash flowing things that make me income instead of like the flip where you get a chunk of change. I want the consistent cash flowing projects. So I spend a lot of time trying to find those. It's very hard right now. It's very risky, but it can be done. So I'm spending the next, I don't know, maybe forever. We'll see. I really like it. It's one of the few things that hasn't lost my interest. Like I said, I try a lot of stuff, get bored of them really fast. And I found one that has held my attention. So getting more real estate projects, finding different side businesses that I enjoy. I keep kind of starting things and looking at them. I'm like, I really have to think about the time that goes into it. That's what everyone should do. Don't just pay attention to the money, but figure out like the time and what you have to do and start looking if that's how you want to spend your time. So I'll keep looking for income producing side projects, doing things I like. And then ultimately I want to have consistent income from the real estate and go traveling and spearfishing.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, that's what I want next.
And we're diving into all this cool stuff that Dylan's doing with real estate, just circling back that it all came from the foundation of establishing his own business and learning it through doing it, doing the crabbing. Okay, that didn't work. Moving on. All right, now I can do, dog poop. Okay, that worked, but I don't really like it. And now you're doing, the scuba stuff that's kind of on the side for fun, but $250 an hour is nothing to shake a stick at, man. So you've established your value and how you can add value to people's lives in a way that you enjoy. And that's an important lesson especially for the young men that are moving high school, college age. It's like, how are you going to add value to other people? And how are you going to do it in a way that you enjoy and can make you good money? So.
Yep. And you just nailed it, man. It is adding value to other people. And then the things come back around, and just make sure whatever it is you're doing, you enjoy it. You're not going to enjoy every second of everything you do. There's always stuff that sucks, but just dig deep into what you want to do, what it's going to take. Try it. If it doesn't work, don't worry about it. Go try something else.
Nice. Cool, man. Well, sweet, Dylan. I appreciate having you on today. This has been a blast getting to know you even better, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.
Yeah, man, I'm stoked. I'm really happy about what you're doing. I want you to keep pushing it. Let me know if I can do anything to help promote it, or if maybe find some more speakers or whatever direction you want to go with this project. I'm here for you, man.
Much appreciated, brother.
Cool.